Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and with me I have Sai.
I am Sai, and I'm once again with Lucid.
Last episode was pretty cool. If you missed it, Mictlan and Pangaea had their final showdown and fight. And spoiler alert, Pangaea won. It was pretty epic. If you've never seen Sleep Cloud and Crossbows working together, then you're in for a real treat. Also, lots of cool things. We didn't really even talk about that episode so much. We talked about it a little bit, but the guard commander frontline he had, there's a lot of really clever stuff in there I liked. So
Yeah, Pangaea's scripting was impeccable in that battle.
yeah.
So he took what was already a fairly favorable matchup just in terms of the mage count, because he had actually deployed significantly more than Mictlan had to the battle, and he turned it into an absolute stomp.
Yep. And that's what makes me more excited about this game as it goes on, is the players who are bringing that level of thought and commitment and understanding of the game. These are the players who are going to be making it to be, or more than likely are going to be the players that make it to be the big three or the big four or the big five as the game starts to progress. And then seeing them show down, that's where you get a lot of the really cool things where people are reacting to other people's strategies. And we might get some things we haven't really seen before. So
yeah, the counterplays to the counterplays.
Right. Like teleporting on somebody's capital so that you can save the dude that's getting wished for.
Things like that, yeah. Sure.
Things like that. That will never happen in a new player game. Because, reasons. All right.
Yeah, they don't tend to hit wish very quickly in those games, though.
Yeah. All right. The message has arrived from Olm. Gicello. Boring. So I guess we'll sally out. Real concern of too much self-buff fatigue by using shoestring tactics here. No message from Marco, so let's go see what happens. Oh, Olm has sallied forth. I like this.
Yeah, he's trying to take what little he can, knowing that he can't actually take the full-on death stack fights.
Right.
So, I'm just trying to cause damage while on his way out.
Well, magic duel action? Magic duel? Wait, body ethereal iron skin.
What is thug? Yeah, it's
a thug. What the fuck?
It's an interesting thug, that's for sure.
I mean, I guess these guys technically can't thug because they're sacred.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get this pretty cool bless. He's got 29 protection. He's got a fear aura, which will synergize some with the repel. He's got protective force from flying shield. He's got luck, body ethereal. I don't see twist fate yet. A shock malice, which may come to bite him. Oh, that's a mind burn. Yeah, there's no way, right? Yeah, there's no way.
No way, indeed.
Heart companions are hard to take. Let me pull up one of these guys after they're buffed.
Yeah, I don't think he has strength buffs for them, but he's got all the defensive buffs. So
this is 18 piercing is a lot of damage when you have 4 per tile. It's a fuck ton of damage when you have 4 per tile.
And that's really just from his bless.
Yeah. So, yeah. Wishful thinking maybe could be possible if you were literally the tile behind the fort gate. Or whatever the most choke pointy thing is, so he wasn't really getting surrounded at all. Maybe. Probably not, though.
Yeah. With magic weapons, you just don't really have that many options to make your tanking any consistent.
Yeah. Cool idea, though. I mean, it is something, if you go this crazy build, you can start doing. The thing is, the same way the Hawkmeisters were a bad matchup, this is also a bad matchup. So.
Yeah, it's suffering from the same issues, basically.
Right. Looks like this raiding party ran into a small squad of elephants. He's decided he's done with getting his mage picked off. But he gets his mage picked off.
Yeah, not much he really could have done about that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically just at the point where he's just trying things, seeing what actually sticks.
Yeah, and he's not drawing income from this because he doesn't have any forts, but this is the cost of controlling your cap circle. Sometimes you lose raiders. And then... And if he could doomstack and maybe knock the guys off his cap, then it would probably be a bigger, there'd be a bigger reason to not do, like risk losing stuff doing the raiding. But because he can't, there's no reason not to, really.
Yeah. Again, just may as well try stuff.
Right.
If you're out anyways. Or on the way out anyways, I should say.
I think the issue here is these guys are going to HP route this guy. Or do they actually kill him? No, there's no way these guys kill him, right?
Yeah, don't think so.
Oh, wait, they did kill him.
Oh,
Huh.
that was unexpected.
Let me watch that again. I didn't think that would happen.
Huh. What is killing him? Is he just... Oh, is he retreating? No. He just got
He
crit.
was retreating, I think, at the end. Let me see. Yeah, armor defeating hit.
He just got crit.
Got crit. Okay. Yeah. And then he storms. This is kind of cool. He's got some lucky pikemen that are going to run into the gap. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, ethereal hoplites running through the back.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the ethereal that he's putting on his guys anyways is going to make them actually very effective at breaking through the walls here.
Yeah. What's cool is he kept some mages around to do this, because we had thought he moved most of the mages to the cap, but he still has 6 mages sitting on top of that fort, so... And while this... Owen was commenting about how this is a 750 wall strength fort, there's a big siege train moving up still, so...
All those apes that he used to siege the first fort are still around.
Yeah. So, yeah. Not much Owen can do, but he's doing what he can. Next, let's go to Mictlan. With the big loss against Pan this turn, our ability to put up any sort of real organized defense is gone. In hindsight, I should have listened to Zan and gone for a heavier bless, since we didn't really end up benefiting from the scales choice like neutral magic. Neutral magic was supposed to help us in the mid-game, but we never got to it. We will ride out with my remaining forces for a brave but pointless last stand, told he. Okay.
Well, it'll be fun. We'll get to see something.
So, brave and pointless last stand, sign me up. Yes, this is exactly the kind of content you tune into this YouTube channel for.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing even for a last stand, but what can you do? Right? I mean, you already lost everything.
Right. Did he not send anything inside? Did he... Oh, wait, Pan...
No, it's he swapped with Gath. I'm guessing that they had some sort of setup where whoever killed the Doomstat gets the cap. And because Pangea did it, Gath basically stepped off the cap to let Pangea storm.
Yeah, let's see if we have a message from Gath here. We do. So we got to thank Mictlan for that hilarious suicide. I must admit, I don't think it was even remotely probable, but we agreed that Pan stayed in place last turn because his losses upon attacking 40 PD plus Mictlan army would have been too large. Turns out, it was a desperation move from Mictlan, which is, of course, understandable. I feel a bit sad we did not have an epic battle on the cap I was preparing for hours, but the result should have been similar, except I would have lost more because I had no PD. However, with all my stuff intact, except that poor Jade Sorceress, I'll be ready for more action sooner. This war, that seemed so hard just 2 turns ago, is essentially over, and Mictlan might actually be the first nation to fall if we do everything right. I'm in a very good spot to continue expanding into other people now because my armies are intact, and all neighbors are busy or weakened. So the obvious next target should be Marignon, who seems to not be making a lot of troops. Oh, interesting. We were thinking that we would go on Marignon, but it's Gath that's looking hungry.
Yeah,
that's but doing it together with Pan. A lot of troops who's done a lot of site searching in my future provinces with his Awake Rainbow. So we'll be doing it together with Pan again, and we need to act fast before the world situation has changed. Pan is getting more of Mictlan, while I'll be getting more of Marignon. Meanwhile, some peaceful development is in order, and research is in dire need of fixing. P.S. It's hilarious that map generation puts all the adept thrones around Veti. Has to mean something. P.P.S. I'm genuinely trying to every turn to give you some rest from my messages. But as I said, I just need to talk to someone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
I know that feeling. I think I sent you guys like when you and Zach and I were casting that game. I was sending you guys like books, and I think that like when I was watching the thing, I'd like pull it up, read like a couple sentences, and maybe I'd be like salty or something. You'd be like, "Oh, let's just close this. What's the next message?" But it feels good to be able to type a message to somebody. So
Yeah.
so that's interesting. This is the problem really with being small, is that this situation where you have two players who are in a good position and they're like, okay, well, if both of us keep getting farther ahead and we have each other's back, we'll keep advancing ourselves in the game relative to all the other players.
Yeah, and you don't get that opportunity without being a victor of a war.
Right. So, and instead you look like an opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's what's basically been going on with Marion and why they picked him as the target is exactly that. They looked easy.
Right. Well, it's also like if they picked a bigger nation, then they might be too big after that war where like one of them needs to be taken down by everybody else. Right? It's a little bit less like if you're on parity with, like if Gath and Pan are the same size, like if and then the next person they took was a 2-cap nation, so they both effectively got one more cap. It's not as bad as like one person running away because it's a lot harder to form a coalition against two people. But yeah, being small means it's a lot easier for somebody to absorb you without attracting too much heat.
Yeah, I didn't even really like consider that, but when you are like have two or in this case 3 people all going on one person, then they naturally just don't get too large after the war anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these are things to think about as Marignon, because I'm sure Marignon was approached by Mictlan, like, hey, dude, all your neighbors are attacking me. Maybe you want to help so that they don't have all my land. And he's like, no, I'm cool. Right. And then this is some of the fallout of like not helping Mictlan. Not saying he should have helped Mictlan, but I'm saying this is some of like the chess you have to kind of contemplate when you're saying no.
Yeah. I don't think that Marion was in a position to change that war, though.
Well, let's look. I haven't actually really thought about it.
I don't think
Mictlan
even mentioned asking Marion for help.
I mean, Mictlan mentioned when they were doing diplomacy with the bats. I think they had talked to all the neighbors, but they said no help was coming.
Yeah, I don't think that they mentioned Marion specifically, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, told these and put in the comments what happened. I don't think we really know. But I mean, Mictlan, Marignon, if they rushed, yeah, they would need like Arafin to fight this Gath army. And even then, I don't really know if they could kill Gath. They don't really have a good army set up for that. Pangaea would be pretty tricky as well.
Yeah, it's a tough fight.
They might have a better shot against Pangaea. If assuming this army has to stay over here, just looking at this stuff, they might be able to kill that much with all their stuff, but
yeah, it's still just a hard fight.
Yeah. I mean, they should, in theory, Marignon should win a crossbow war against Pangaea. They can just make way more crossbows in general as a nation.
Well, I mean, Pangaea does have the advantage of their crossbows being better, though.
Yeah, but like, let's look at it. These guys are 10 gold, 10 resources, 9 recruitment points. And then these guys...
And then baseline everything, yeah.
Are twice as much on these, but then 20% gold, more of that. Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly think that they might be 20% better when you factor in the protection and the precision.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Gold for gold, these guys are probably better. But for a first war, for even this timing in the game, these stats still matter a ton. So,
yeah.
Like, Marignon should have twice as many, and these guys aren't twice as good.
Yeah, I think that based on Pangaea's easier time expanding, though, that they should be in a very comfy position.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not sure what Marignon should do. Maybe they should have like gone on Agartha sooner or something. But you don't want to be small and let your neighbors like eat somebody, because there's a very good chance They're already working close together and trust each other. They're going to turn on you.
Yeah, and you also, oh, that is interesting. They took the province instead of sailing around and grabbing a bunch of stuff.
Right. Like rather than like fight Agartha, right, where they didn't have to poke the bear, they're like, no, we'll poke Utgard. It's like, just sail all your stuff onto this fort, and then if you want to take this from Utgard, take it later. Like, why piss him off when he's like doing your work for you and killing Utgard's armies or Agartha's armies? But this also, like, Marignon attacking Utgard here also makes Utgard probably question, like, what am I getting myself into by pushing past this? Like, am I gonna have to fight Marignon for Agartha's capital?
Yeah, well, I mean, Utgard should have been clearing out those barbarians and moving into the north already anyways, right? Like, they should have been doing that just in order to open up a second avenue of attack.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can think of...
Was the army here or here last turn? I forget.
It was in the farm.
It was in the farm?
So because they moved up to the waste, so they didn't attack Agartha, and they stepped out of Marignon's army's way, and there's no way that Marignon stat kills them, right? So that's telling me that the two are actually working together. So my best guess is that Utgard wants Mary to do the rest of the heavy lifting.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like they feel weak or tired or whatever, and so they're just gonna grab the easy stuff, go in through the north, and not try to headshot Agartha themselves.
And then I'm taking this. Oh my gosh.
I mean, that had been iffy for too long.
It had.
Like, that's justifiable.
Yeah. It's true. So yeah, I mean, Utgard has to decide, are they going to attack this? Or what looks more likely is come back here and work their way around. So I don't know if there's too much more to say about this. There's not really any big action. We do have a message from Midgard. Musings from dying. There must be a lot of Diplo nonsense going on. I've told Vedheim to vulture my western border 4 to 5 turns ago. Nothing yet, although it looks like this turn. I feel like I should explain my choice not to contest Tianqi. After the misplay with the Vans earlier, I didn't think what forces I had could reasonably expect to trade well versus Tianqi heavy barb horsemen. I inherit recruitment points being as they are, I just didn't have the means to get the numbers. Agartha, however, did spread himself quite thin, numbers-wise versus me. And while the engagement didn't go incredibly well, I bled him enough that future fights could be at a more equal footing. With the promised intervention from Utgard, there was some chance to at least cause more permanent damage. Agartha's decision to go after me, with the foul vapor-shaped hole in his pretender design, and having 2 foul vapor's neighbors, one of which expanded quite badly, feels incredibly foolhardy. Tianqi's all in, I don't begrudge that much. It's probably the reasonable play with Midgard's starting slump, and how there is an opportunity to skip infrastructure and get ancestor mages with foreign recruit heavy cav supports. So a mix of expected damage consideration and some slight salt seasoning. So it was both. As we
and that makes sense, right? Like, you know, you want to do what you can to hurt the people killing you.
Right. Yeah, that's the only motivation left to us when we're dying. In hindsight, I didn't align my pretender design well enough with how likely I was to get a gang up. I probably needed either a bigger bless, a defensive titan, or a winning personality. That's funny. You were saying the bless was a little light too at the beginning, if I recall, right?
Yeah, well, the idea of the big defense bless is that you basically get huge fast, and then the thing that defends you isn't so much the bless itself, it's that you have 4 forts pumping Gelderman.
Right.
And this bless, because it was so modest, didn't get to that comfy 20 province by turn 10 like setup.
Yeah. Okay.
Slight exaggeration, but the idea of the bless Midgard build where you basically go all in on an expansion bless, or not even all in, right? Like you're still basically playing a scales Midgard, but with like a +6 defense. Mm-hmm. The idea with that is basically that your sacreds can just expand so well that, you have the magic to defend yourself. And the way that Nicknet likes to play it is he hits exactly 20 provinces and then does Diplo.
Yeah. Okay. So if we finish did we get a message from Tianqi too? We did. This has been a very good turn for site searching. The only real disappointment is I found very few nature and earth gems, which are the most useful type for me in the short term. Agartha seems possibly to be on the brink of collapsing. My rating options are limited by my commander shortage. but I'm going to end up grabbing more of former Midgard land just to trace income from it. If Agartha is even still in the game, I want to flag more of that region. I want my flag on more of that region than it currently is. I don't want vultures who didn't fight Midgard to profit, especially since it sounds like Vedheim and Pangaea are going to get big chunks of Mictlan and thus be plenty big themselves.
Well, I mean, Vedheim didn't get big chunks, but what he did get was also free.
Yeah. But I fully endorse not giving anything to Vedheim.
Yeah, no, I think he should move fast and just grab all that stuff.
Yep. So, let's see what happens. TNG takes this, Vedheim takes this. Vedheim had forces in here to take more, but it looks like they didn't get here quite in time. They take this. They popped this fort. They had the cat battle, which I think we watched. Oh, no, they...
Yeah, not much of a battle, but it was just, them grabbing it.
Right, and they're just patrolling out the scouts here this turn, actually. Yeah, so not too much to talk about there. I think we've been through all the messages now. Let me just check real quick. We haven't read this one, have we? Hi. A hint of brutality and a semblance of delicacy, and 300 crossbows did the job. Mictlan had no good option here, except maybe wait and fight with PD, and we had around 1,000 gold more than him on the field, mostly in mages, so the battle was tipped in our favor. Still, Warp PC did figure the best positioning, mages up front with dryads and hoplites on guard commander, after lots of tinkering, so bravo to him. As per the coalition...
So the thing with that is it's incredibly strong in the specific matchup because Mictlan is all melee, right? Like if you're facing a decent number of crossbows, then the attrition that you take on your mage core, just basically getting shot, makes that no longer an option.
Right.
But in this case, Mictlan's, their range options were just these slingers, which not nearly good enough in order to actually cause any serious attrition.
Right. As per the coalition agreement, we will get the lion's share, the cap. We do not trust Vedheim a bit with what will come next, but I hear there are plans to strengthen the relationship with Gath and allow him to grow in one of our common neighbors, and maybe take a bite here and there myself. The Throne of Misfortune continues to plague us. 4 pans recruited so far, 2 plain boring standard LA pans, but also 1 N4 and 1 Blood 1. Sadly,
that's really lucky.
Earth 3
they got 2
or Death 1.
randoms.
Yeah. Sadly, no Earth 3 or Death 1 yet. Nature 4 will cast Mother Oak once we reach Construction 4 Alt 5. Blood 1 will begin blood hunting in a few turns to open us up late. To open us mid-late game options. Okay. P.S. Did not see the throne. Did not see what throne we did take in 124 before writing this. Yeah, I guess the Misfortune is still going strong. Yeah, they didn't really get amazing thrones.
Yeah, but they did get some amazing randoms, so that's always nice. So Pythium is going to be putting up Mother Oak first, most likely. But Pangaea is one of the few nations that has the native nature income in order to be able to seriously contest that.
Yeah. So...
And with those pans outside searching, they should have a pretty easy time finding additional nature income as well.
Yeah, they've got a Glen of Verdant Greenery, a Wolf Oak here. Man, the Indies are really active. Got Barnes over here. Helping to put Mictlan out of the game over here.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people took Misfortune this game.
Yeah. So, I don't think there's too much more to talk about here.
Yeah, I can say though that Gath is probably very happy because the Gath player seemed to think that his build was very slow, that very vulnerable, that he just wants to, get to an okay size and build up. And now he's in the situation where he has a reliable ally, a bunch of free territory that he didn't really even have to fight for, and a next war target where he's going to be able to continue to grow while once again not needing to make any very serious commitments to go all in.
Yeah. Blood economy, I don't really see much evidence of it going beyond this one province. Well, here there's not even any unrest, so he's either patrolling it out every turn or...
Wherever he has Levites, he's blood hunting.
Yeah, I mean, that's this.
Yeah, I don't think that he has that many blood mages, though.
Yeah.
Because he only just recently put up a second temple.
Right.
In that province next to his cap. And the Gadols that he had been using as his blood hunters initially moves up to his main death ball, right? Because he used one as a super combatant, or I guess I should say thug because it wasn't, yeah. And yeah, and you kind of also want these guys outside searching because they're also your highest path mages.
Right.
So yeah, between all the jobs that they need to do, he's probably only doing like a trickle of blood.
Okay. Yeah, it does appear to be the case. He's got this guy out here, this guy here. They're definitely running around looking for some juicy sites, not outside searching for blood so much. It looks like it doesn't look like Marignon's gonna risk it yet. He had that underwater
He
thug.
should have taken the Ictiad province.
Yeah.
That was free. Those guys can't hurt his thug.
Right.
Honestly, he could have taken both of those.
Yeah.
The regular Tritons also don't do anything. And even the guards, like, yeah.
Yeah. Too bad. So yeah, Marignon being very passive, and that may come back to bite him. I mean, he's still missing. The thing is, even vulturing a bit of Atlantis, he's probably smaller than a lot of players were coming out of expansion because he doesn't have that underwater stuff yet.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting to the point where like Agartha was like 20 turns ago. Not 20, like 15 turns ago. So.
Yeah, and he's also not going to get that much bigger.
Right. He can maybe hope to get these. I think that's about the end of his strings right now.
If he gets Atlantis's cap,
I don't think that's on
then
the table.
he'll be okay. But that's kind of a big ask.
Yeah. Not to say it's impossible, but I don't think that's how this coalition is, like, the structure of it. I think he was brought in as a vulturing partner, not as a principal.
I mean, you say that, but there's no one else who's going to be set up to do the principal fighting either, because my team is busy.
You say that. We now have an army from Agartha.
Oh, sorry, not Atlantis, Agartha's capital. That's what I meant.
Oh, Agartha. Okay, yeah. No, that's possible. Yeah. Yeah.
I keep getting these A nations mixed up. I did that before, I think, in the same episode.
Yeah, I do that sort of thing all the time. So, okay. We have a ping, or not a ping. This is a TNG scout getting patrolled out. What I don't understand, this army wasn't here the previous turn, was it?
Some of it? No. He moved up only a relatively small raiding party,
right,
led by that one Tadukudo doing the size 3 air elementals, and everything else is reinforcement.
But he patrols with everything in the capital. I don't know what he was hoping to find here. Like his god?
Move patrol, maybe?
But they caught a
So
scout.
some of those guys were bordering.
Okay, yeah, that's
Pythium.
possible.
So I think it's move patrol with those guys. I don't know what the god's doing though.
All the mages. It's literally everything he has. This is the entire worldly possessions.
Right, but those guys were
Atlantis.
already out of his cap, right? Because he already had
okay.
5 mages.
Okay. What are these guys casting? Sermon of Courage? No! Cast fucking skeletons or something. Jesus. And this dying
He's
animal
going to do
sounds.
howl.
He's doing how?
No, do you think he's going to do howl? Obviously, that didn't trigger it, but he's got nature gems on his god.
I was thinking this was just like personal regen, so he didn't have to worry about it.
But he already has 4 nature. You don't need gems for that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe that is how. That would be cool.
It's either that or poison resist buffs.
The problem with how is it's super high fatigue.
Yeah.
So you're kind of taking this guy out of combat to cast it, and
you know what? It's probably just poison resist buffs.
Yeah.
For his non-sacred troops.
That's probably it. Okay. The important thing here is that we see Dukados listed in the army, and we also see the Agarthian god. So Agartha ain't fucking around anymore. This is the high commitment stack.
Check their research graph, because that'll show what percentage of mages they deploy.
Yeah, let's take a look.
That did not taper off very much.
I mean, you say that, right? But
they taper off a little.
The difference between these is like comparable to the entire research of TNG right now. Like, it doesn't look much, but like he would have been like right here. So I don't know. It's probably about the research TNG's getting every turn he mobilized for this war.
Yeah, I still don't think it's enough mages.
Really?
I mean, we'll see, right? But
Thunderstrike, the frogs do not like Thunderstrike.
That's true. Yeah, I guess I should say he could be bringing more to make this a safer push.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. The thing is, I think some of like Atlantis doesn't really have many advantages here. He doesn't have a troop advantage. He doesn't really have a mage advantage. And his only thing is the god, which can definitely be countered by mages. So it's like the mages he's bringing really can't do anything. They were casting Servant of Courage. So
That's true. Yeah, he's too far behind in research to actually put up a serious fight.
right.
That said, the more one-sided your battle is, the less attrition you're going to suffer.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's that. Pythium's hanging out. Tianchi, we've already looked at them. What other conflicts haven't we talked about? We need to look at Ulm and Arco, right? I know we've already done that.
Yeah, that's Ulm did some raiding. You managed to actually get out, do a little bit of damage, but he's functionally dead at this point, and he doesn't have a way to win against a death stack on his cap, and his message out to the world to go Thunderdome in his territory has not led to anything exciting.
Right.
The only thing that I can think of is the next wars coming out of the Ulm conflict, just because Arco double dealt.
Yeah. Yeah, Arco pissed off Pythium, Tianchi, Zabalba. I don't think they pissed off Vedheim.
Joman.
They pissed off Joman. So they haven't pissed off Vedheim, and they haven't pissed off Gath.
Yeah.
And Utgard, I think, is barely playing. But yeah, so they pissed off a pretty big percentage of the neighbors. I hope that somehow our heel survives into the deep late game. I hope
so too.
I hope he doesn't get punished for his sins. All right. Any closing thoughts here, Sai?
No, I'm interested in seeing what TNG does next. He's one of the few totally free agents, right? Because Marignon kind of has his war already laid out with the fact that he essentially has to fight Agartha at this point, because he's already kind of moved in that direction and doesn't really have much else going on for him. But he's very close to having staled the last 3 turns in terms of his actual movement.
Utgard?
The only thing that he did was he took 1 farm province, right?
This one? Yeah. You're talking about Utgard, right?
Marignon.
Oh, Marignon.
Marignon did nothing for the last 3 turns.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say he's close to staling, because that's kind of I don't think it's great Marignon play, but I think there's some nations where the people that pick them, they're they want to play a nation that turtles, and then they come out as a super powerful blood power. And I'm getting that vibe real strong from Marignon right now. He's
That's
in
fair.
the turtle phase. But
yeah, I just mean that if you look at his territory, this is the first new province that he's taken in a very long time.
Yeah.
For what should be a pretty weak opponent.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right. I think TNG's position is really interesting. If people start going on Marignon, does TNG stab Pangea? They don't really have the option to stab Gath, I don't think, do they? No.
Yeah, they don't border Gath at all, and their border with Pangea is very awkward.
Oh, right. It's this weird river.
Yeah, they essentially... Well, they have 2 provinces that they can move through, because that river does at least have a bridge.
Oh,
but
it does. Okay,
it's still a 2-province border.
Yeah.
Compared to something like Erythia or even Arco, actually, because they have a little bit of... it's technically a diagonal border, but it's a wide diagonal border now.
Yeah.
They have the largest border with Pythium by far,
be.
but I don't think that's who they want to fight. Or should want to fight, I should say.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're getting to that phase where we can go into a pretty chill next part of the game, where not much happens and people are kind of wanting to sit on their gains and tech up and all those sort of things. Or we could have somebody make a break for it. Hey, I'm really strong. I'm going to go fight somebody else immediately after fighting the first one. And that could set off a whole chain reaction of wars.
Well, we already know at least one of those wars is most likely going to be pretty one-sided. I honestly expect Gath and Pangea to completely stomp Marignon.
Yeah, I think so too. But we haven't really seen Marignon do much, so we don't really know how they're thinking about their early mid-game power. So maybe they surprise us. I'm always open to that.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, Well, thanks so much for joining me, Sai.
Absolutely. Thanks for hosting.
And viewers, as always, thank you. And we'll see you next time. Till then, take care.